It's my pleasure to give the floor now to the United States of America. Please.
Thank you very much. And I want to thank all of the co-chairs of both bureaus, both online and in person, for responding to our request as a board. It was a helpful readout indeed, and I do have a couple of questions across both, if I may. I will just, though, first of all, just reiterate something I said this morning about the importance of seizing the moment and the commitment of our government to see this through on the original timeline. We do believe that that is essential, particularly given what all of you have said about the not just the sense of urgency, but the need for urgency, the requirement of urgency in this moment. I also, I think, Ashley, you might have mentioned this as well, the fact that these two processes are linked, not just in the way that Precious described in overlapping topics, but in the way that really this work will need to be implemented. And it's very clear to us, those of us at the table, that there is a lot of overlap across both, and we really appreciate the work being done by both bureaus to try and understand sort of what belongs where. I think we would like even more concrete guidance as member states from you all as to what you recommend, especially given, there's sort of a risk as one process sort of falls flat or feels delayed, that the other process also falls behind. And I don't know if everyone fully understands outside this room the risk of sort of losing both potentially. And that's not something that we want to see happen. I think we'll also, something I might have mentioned earlier is just how hard we're working across all member states. It seems to be as creative as possible, and just any guidance that we do get, particularly from co-chairs on IMB, given how far away that process feels, any guidance you can give us as to how we can truly find compromise across these various solutions, I think will be helpful. There's just a lot of important proposals being put on the table. And so when people ask me how this is going, I still point to a hopefulness because of the way people are showing up. Even this room is full, right? All of your negotiations have been well attended, and even beyond member states, there's still an open question of how other stakeholders are being brought into the process. Again, because these are the stakeholders who do understand what we're trying to do. These are the stakeholders who do want to push back against misinformation and really break through in terms of real solutions. And so these are the stakeholders that I think we need to keep engaged, and not just engaged, but informed about how their interventions are really making an impact. So very much appreciate you all's focus in that regard. Just finally on this topic of misinformation, this is something that I know we have talked about as a board as well, but we in the U.S. are committed to joining other member states in ensuring that we continue to educate the public and our policymakers about what these negotiations are and are not. I think it could be helpful for us to also continue to share those practices with each other as member states. I'm not sure if there's often space to do that, but as these negotiations come to conclusion, hopefully in the next several months, we know that a lot of that mis and disinformation might ramp up. And so as we're, accelerating the pace on the details, I think we also need to accelerate efforts or even elevate efforts in, as DG said, in our education and communication. Apologies, I hope that was clear. I just landed this morning from a 7-hour flight, so I'm doing my best.